All right, it's 1:30 PM, and I call the February 12th, 2024 meeting of the Area Board of Zoning Appeals to order. Currently, we have 6 members present and 1 on Zoom of a 7-member board. We will first ask from any public comment from those sitting in the chambers and then call on the members attending remotely. If a member of the public attending remotely wishes to participate in the public comment portion of the meeting, they should indicate this by using the raise hand function in Zoom and/or by messaging the host in the chat function. Please clearly state your name and address for the record. Board members, please state your name when making a motion and a second. Lastly, everybody, please silence your cell phones not to disturb the meeting. Roll call, please.
Mr. Tavernier?
Here.
Mr. Byers?
Here.
Dr. Lauk?
Here.
Mr. Velman?
Here.
Mr. Ritzma?
Here.
Mr. Roush?
Here.
Mr. Schaefer?
Here.
6 members present, 1 on Zoom.
Petition number 1 has been tabled till next
Peti-
month.
Petition number 2, location 716 Michigan Street. Owner Derek A. Manley. Requested action, variance from section 152.083 sub A2 to allow for the establishment of an accessory building prior to the establishment of a primary use on the lot. Zoning R1 Single Family District, New Carlisle.
Good afternoon. This is Carl Brungrim, Area Plan Commission staff. So the petitioner owns a piece of property on the south side of US 20 at the far east of the town limits of the town of New Carlisle. They're looking for a variance to allow for a pole building to be built prior to the completion of the primary structure. We do recommend approval of the variance on the condition that a building permit to complete the house is issued by the town within 2 years of approval. As you can see in the aerial, the property is currently vacant. The petitioner was in the process of constructing the house as of a few years ago. And in the site pictures here, you can see the foundation and underground plumbing is partially in there. There's the surrounding area. The construction of the property has ceased since the original attempt was made. And the original building permit issued by the town of New Carlisle has expired. The petitioner is now looking to restart and finish construction of the house. However, they first would like to build this 30 by 50 garage as seen in the site plan first. The garage will be used to store goods and materials that will aid the petitioner in completing the house project. Again, staff does recommend approval of the requested variance, subject to that condition that a permit be issued within 2 years. Turning to state law criteria, the petitioner has already once obtained a building permit and partially begun construction, provided this primary structure is completed in a timely manner per the recommended condition of approval. The grant of the variance should pose no threat to the general welfare of the surrounding area. The use and value will remain unchanged. Again, that proposed pole building is in character with the accessory buildings in the surrounding area. With respect to size and location, it does meet the specifications of the New Carlisle Town Ordinance. And finally, staff does find there to be practical difficulty in this case. The strict application of the ordinance would prevent the petitioner from building an accessory building that will help facilitate the completion of that primary building. We do recommend approval with that condition that I stated, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Is there any questions? No. No? Is the petitioner present? Name and address, and you got 10 minutes.
My name's Derek Manley. I own the property at 716 East Michigan Street in New Carlisle, but I live in Michigan, 1141 Hoyt Street in Michigan City, Indiana. I'm here today to respectfully request a variance from the zoning ordinance that requires a primary residence be built before any accessory structure, such as a garage. My request is to allow the construction of a garage on my property located at 716 East Michigan Street before the construction of the primary residence. Site conditions, the lot is just outside of downtown New Carlisle in an area that is blended with residential, farmland, and some commercial and industrial facilities. Building a garage first would allow storage for the construction, machinery, tools, and materials needed for the house. Right now, have a storage unit that I'm paying for, but it's in Michigan City. And it would free up the funds for that. Not that really makes a big difference on a building of a structure. But it does save me a lot on constant transportation back and forth. Basically being a 45-minute drive one way. New Carlisle doesn't specifically have a lumber store, so it would make it nice to be able to store more on site. Security and safety. By having a secure structure on the property, I can better protect the site from vandalism and theft, which can be a concern given the property's on a highly traveled highway. This would also allow material and tools that are prone to damage based on weather to be protected as well. Financial considerations. By building the garage first allows me to manage the project in phases, making it more financially feasible. Basically, when I have concrete poured for driveways and stuff, I can do the floors, everything at once. Community benefits, I can maintain the mess a little better. But I guess I can just read it. By building the garage first, it would allow somewhere out of public view for scraps and debris to be stored or managed. This would also benefit the community by allowing progress to the house on days that the weather doesn't exactly cooperate, speeding the construction process up. Precedent and compliance. I understand the importance of zoning laws in maintaining the character and functionality of our neighborhood. I assure you that our plan includes full compliance with all other zoning regulations, including setbacks, size, and aesthetics. I commit to completion of the primary residence within 2 years of the completion of the garage. The commitment can be legally documented if required by the board. In conclusion, granting this variance would not only facilitate a more efficient and safer construction process, but also align the practical needs of my project while maintaining the integrity of zoning principles. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Are you building this garage yourself?
I am not building the garage myself. I actually hired a contractor for that, but I am going to build the house myself.
That's all I got.
Thank you for your full and complete statement. That was great.
Thanks.
You guys got anything else? No? All right, we'll open it up to the public. Is there anybody that would like to speak in favor of this petition? Please step forward. Seeing none. Any on Zoom? Seeing none. Anybody that would like to speak against this petition, please step forward. Seeing none. Any on Zoom? Seeing none, public portion is now closed. You guys got anything else, or I'll take a motion?
I know it's not part of it, but you can't build it on a 7-foot setback, can you?
It's 5 foot.
Or 5 foot?
It's the town of New Carlisle zoning ordinance, which allows slightly more flexibility with setback compared to the county.
As I said, I know that's not what it's here for, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, based off the testimony presented by the petitioner and his need to have this secured site, I find no reason not to grant the variance as requested with forgive me for I'm going to butcher this, but based off of the staff recommended conditions as well, right? Is that good enough?
Written commitments?
Written commitment? No, there's no written commitment. It's written, it's
Oh,
a
written
condition.
conditions, sorry.
Okay, so I think what you're trying to say is you're trying to make a motion to approve the variance subject to the conditions stated in the staff report. Is that right?
Yes, that is what I'm
Okay.
trying to say.
Dr. Lauk, I second that.
We have a first and a second. Mr. Byers?
Yes.
Mr. Ritzma?
Yes.
Mr. Roush?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Vellman?
Yes.
Dr. Lauk,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier.
Yes, based on the testimony presented here today, after Area Board of Zoning Appeals grants your variance and will issue written findings of facts. Thank you.
Petition number 3, 50859, Michigan Road. Owner Katie M. Lewis. Requested action, variance from section 154.070, sub C2D1A, to allow a 6-foot tall fence with less than 70% open space in the minimum front yard where 36 inches is permitted. Zoning R Single Family District, County.
Far Sharif Area Plan Commission staff, this is a request to permit a fence in the front yard, namely the area between the front lot line and the front facade of the house. By right, a 4-foot chain link or 3-foot solid fence is permitted there, but not any taller. The house currently faces Michigan Street. The petitioner was red tagged by the building department while working on a 6-foot fence along the north property line in the front. A 6-foot fence is located directly across along the south lot line of the property. So the request is to allow that 6-foot fence on both sides. Staff is recommending denial of the variance. This is the home on site, and that is the fence on the north property line in the front yard. Here is the fence on the south property line. I've included quite a few pictures for this petition just because I want to give you a better sense of the neighborhood. So this is looking south on Michigan Street. Looking north, that's the north side fence. Again, you can see it in the left on the petitioner's subject property. Right-of-way is approximately 60 foot wide, and the fence does not go into the right-of-way. It stops at the property line. Here's an additional angle of the home. This is the lot abutting the home to the south. And this is the lot abutting the home to the north. So there are properties in this neighborhood that have fences in the front yard, some of them permitted and some of them not permitted. The chain link fence on this property would be permitted, assuming it's not over 4 foot. This home directly across the subject property, and this is also a 4-foot open fence. However, to the left in this picture, you see a tall fence going along that property line. That is not permitted. Here's a closer look at that property with the unpermitted fence. It's also been red tagged, I believe. This is a little bit farther north on Michigan, so this has not been red tagged, nor have we received a complaint on this fence, but it would not be permitted because it's in the front yard over 6 feet. This is a corner lot with an open fence. As you know, there are different regulations for corner lots. And then this is the other corner, likely not meeting the ordinance. Petitioner did submit a couple pictures too, which I included in your packet. The site plan shows the 6-foot fence is going along the entirety of the north and south property lines. They can have that 6-foot solid fence in the backyard, but not the front. Going to state law criteria, I just want to emphasize on criteria 2 and 3. As many of you recall, the county did start to require building permits for residential fences in April of 2023, but the standard disallowing solid fences over 3 foot has been pre-existing. I was able to find that language in at least up to the 1977 ordinance, but it may have been in prior ones. A part of why we began to require building permits is because there are a lot of fences that go up that are unpermitted according to the zoning ordinance, but this is a better way to keep track of that. So 6-foot tall solid fences in the front yard are out of character for residential lots in the county. You saw that adjacent properties do have fencing in the front yard. Some of them are able to do so, meeting the ordinance. Any other solid 6-foot fences you saw in the front yard are likely unpermitted, as the ordinance never allowed fences that tall in the front yard. As for practical difficulty, a 6-foot fence is permitted in the rear yard. There is nothing staff could find about the location of the residential property that necessitates additional screening in the front yard. Staff recommends denial and can take any questions.
Any questions? No? Is the petitioner present? Say yes. Name and address, and you got 10 minutes.
Hi, my name's Katie, 50859 Michigan Road,
Can you,
South Bend.
can you pull the microphone? Yep, thank you.
South Bend, Indiana. She had a lot of the pictures that I brought in also. There's fences all over my street, around the block. So I think it's acceptable in my neighborhood. The reason that fence, it was up years ago. A tree took it out in 2008. I moved out of the house when I got married. I got divorced and moved back in 2 years ago. That fence has been up for 2 years. Never had a complaint. I worked with the neighbors right next door to make sure that they could see backing out of their driveway. We both have landscaping along the side of it that looks really nice in the summer, like flowers and all that, so I think it was a benefit to the property. The south fence was there when I purchased the home. I just wanted to apply for the variance for that one because it's gonna need replaced eventually, so I wanted to make sure I'm covered. As far as being red tagged, it was for not having a permit. I hired a contractor. He asked me if there was a fence there previously. I told him, yeah. He told me I didn't need a permit. So I apologize to everyone, and I'm trying to make that right now, but I had no idea. I mean, I hired someone, I assumed they did it right. Apparently, that was not the case, and this is how I'm finding out. But the reason that fence went up, I had a little bit of money left over when I put a new furnace in from that loan, and 3 houses north, I have Kurt Fox living there, who constantly harasses me and my teenage daughter. That's fine, that's fine. Anytime he sees us in our yard, vacuuming out the cars, mowing the lawn, this gentleman comes and he's not doing anything criminal other than staring and oogling mostly at my daughter. You know, it's just us there. Since that fence has been up, he doesn't know when we're coming and going. He can't come and approach us while we're out in the yard. You know, he can't see us. So it's really a safety thing. And then this gentleman here lives catty corner from me. He's the one with the big fence, so I hope you don't make him take it down because that's also protecting me even though it's in his yard. And this fence allows us to come and go freely without worrying about these guys making comments, walking by, staring. The one Kurt guy, he'd drive his lawnmower down, and he's drunk all the time. He left it in my front yard one day and walked home. So I was like, please leave us alone. And he's not criminally doing anything wrong. I called once, and they said, we can't tell someone not to walk down the street. But he's she's 18 years old now. At the time of the incident, she was 17. But since the fence has been up, he can't see when we're going. We can do our thing and leave, and he can't see us. Here's also the other close residences that are child sexual predators that can walk down and see when we're in our yard and just stand and look. Like, I realize it's not criminal, but it makes us uncomfortable, and because I'm a single mom living alone with a daughter, the fence makes us feel safer. We can come and go and don't have to worry about anything. Before that fence was up, every time we were in our yard, whether walking out to the car, whatever, the one particular, the Kurt guy, would come and say something, how you doing? He offered me $100 to go to dinner with him one day. Like, I realize it's not physically threatening, but my daughter's been through an event in her life, and she's nervous, and I'm nervous for her, and it just makes us feel safer. And I don't think it's any different than any other fence that's on my yard, you know, on the whole entire street. I know she had a couple pictures. I've got a couple additional pictures of other houses. And I actually ran out of ink on my printer. But, I mean, it's a pretty common thing on my street. I don't know if I have any, I think this one you had, which was his fence across the street. So I just feel like if I have, besides the financial reason that, like I said, I had a loan to do my furnace, and I barely had enough money to get that up. I don't have the money or the knowledge or strength to fix that fence on my own. I mean, we're barely getting by. And to make me fix the fence that nobody ever complained about, and it would have never been brought up, the south side fence, except for I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to get the variance, so I'm proper. I'm a rule follower. I don't go against rules. And had the contractor said something, I would have been here a lot sooner, applying for a variance before putting up a tall fence. I don't know what else I can say other than I think it's a well-built fence. And I spoke to the neighbors, and I would really like it to be approved. I don't know how to get it down if it's not, or what to do to keep these people, particularly the two gentlemen that we've had issues with, from coming over every time they see us in the yard.
You guys got any questions? No?
At this point.
Anything else to add?
And that was pretty much it. Financially, I don't know how I'm gonna afford to take it down or step it down. And it's really a safety issue, and because there's so many other ones, whether they're permitted or not, I think that mine should be approved, because it's no different than anyone else's. It's actually nicer than most of them. And, you know, my neighbors right next door love it.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll open this up to the public. Is there anybody who would like to speak in favor of this petition? Please step forward. Seeing none. Any on Zoom?
I'll go ahead.
Name and address, and you got 3 minutes.
Tony Racine, 54842 Michigan Road. I'm actually the resident that is with the other privacy fence that she showed wrapped around and in the front. I'm trying to get the variance, just not have it set up yet. I'm basically okay with the fence that she has. And when I go for this, hopefully I'll get the variance on my fence. There's not really much more I can say because I don't have my stuff set up, but I'm the neighbor within the privacy fence that she showed out to the street and going across. Mine's within property line, same as, just the height is the problem if they had the issue with it. So I got red tagged on it too.
Okay. Appreciate it. Is there anybody else on Zoom that would like to speak in favor of this petition? Seeing none, anybody that would like to speak against this petition, please step forward. Seeing none, any on Zoom? Seeing none, public portion is now closed. You guys got anything else, or I'll take a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'm sympathetic to Mrs. Lewis's situation. It sounds like we've got a neighborhood problem, maybe a social problem that really falls a little bit outside the purview of this board. And I don't want that statement to any way minimize the feelings that she has relative to her neighbors, but I don't think we can start setting aside the conditions of the standards set forth in the zoning ordinance. It almost sounds like with another petition potentially coming, we're going to be building a number of fortresses out there. Therefore, I'm going to make a recommendation to deny the petition in accordance with the staff report.
Dr. Lauk, second.
We have a first and a second. Mr. Ritzma,
No.
Mr. Roush,
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer,
No.
Mr. Velman,
This is a quandary for me because I'm an adage of fences make good neighbors, but there's also a safety aspect to the road and all that has to go on with why we don't put 6-foot fences in front yards, right? That's part of the aspect that we're looking at, but it's also a safety factor, in my opinion, for the individual living in the space. That being said, I think there are other alternates to provide potential, again, to Mr. Byers' point is I don't dismiss the issues that are in the neighborhood itself, but I think there could be other applications made that would allow you to feel more secure as well too, so I'm gonna have to say yes in this place.
Mr. Byers?
Yes.
Dr. Lauk?
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier?
Yes. Based on the testimony presented here today, after careful consideration, the Area Board of Zoning Appeals denies your variance and will issue written findings of the facts. Thank you.
Petition number 4, location 56519 Peach Road and 56731 Peach Road. Request, owner GLAA Property LLC. Requested action, variance number 1, from section 154.070, sub C3A1A, to allow for a 7-foot tall bar bed wire security fence with open space greater than 70%, where a maximum of 48 inches is permitted in the front yard east. And from section 154.070 sub C3A3 to allow a barbed wire security fence in the minimum front yard. Zoning C, Commercial District, County.
Fariel Sharif, Area Plan Commission staff. The property is an auto auction sales yard, zoned C. This is technically a corner lot. They have a front on State Road 2 and then on Peach Road. They applied for a permit for a chain link fence with barbed wire along a portion of the property on Peach, which has already existing fencing of the same style. What they applied for is on the southeast corner, so just in that back parcel. The area the whole fence screens along Peach appears to be a storage area for vehicles. The zoning ordinance does have some stricter regulations for fences in the front yard on a commercial property. It doesn't allow for a taller fence or for the barbed wire. Allowing the fence would not negatively affect the use and value or aesthetics of the area and would be in character with the other commercial uses nearby, so staff recommends approval. This picture shows the main facility building from the intersection. I believe this is the actual entrance for customers. The fencing does not run all the way up to State Road 2, so it doesn't present visibility issues. This is the existing 6 foot of chain link fence and 1 foot of barbed wire. This is looking north on Peach. The nearby properties that also front SR2 are zoned commercial and some industrial for uses that are similar in nature and that also have similar screening. There are some residential uses to the rear of the property farther down Peach Road. And this is the area they applied to extend the fencing to. And here it is on the site plan. Going to state law criteria, as stated, the zoning ordinance does contain stricter regulations for fences in the front yard on commercial properties. This is in place mainly to preserve visibility and the aesthetic value of commercial corridors, which doesn't really apply here. This fence is similar to what other commercial properties nearby have and may actually protect property values of those homes nearby by providing additional screening and security. Practical difficulty is mainly because of the corner lot orientation and also because the security fence is intended to screen an area with mostly parked vehicles along a lengthy property line. A shorter fence would be insufficient for this purpose. Staff recommends approval and can take any questions.
Is there any questions? No. No? The petitioner present. Name and address, and you got 10 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name's Heath Phelps. I'm the general manager at the Great Lakes Auto Auction at 25784 State Road 2. We are requesting a variance to this, for this fence. As stated, where we're looking and trying to expand is about several hundred yards from State Road 2, so we're nowhere near the corner. We currently do have a fence already running down Peach Road, so we're just asking to continue that fence further south to the back of our property. About 250 so additional feet added. It'll also be a similar fence to what we already have in place, also what our neighbors have. Also across the street with Caterpillar, they have similar fencing as well. The area that we're trying to enclose already has asphalt paving on it, but we're not able to utilize it because it's not fenced in for security. So by allowing us to do this, we can utilize the additional asphalt that's already on the property, and it'll allow us to start being able to expand, store more vehicles on that section that we're looking at. And as you can see right there, we are fenced where that yellow line starts on the bottom right. Our fence currently goes back there, and that's where it stops from east to west. So we're just looking to expand further back to the boundary so we can encompass the asphalt and so forth. And I thank you for your consideration. Thank you very much.
It's just not clear to me on this drawing. So the new fence will follow the existing line as it currently goes, so it won't be any closer to the road or anything like that than the current fence or anything like that?
Yes, sir. It'll stay exactly the same.
Because I'm looking at this thinking, you're putting a fence up. I mean, that's my indication, but that's not true, correct?
Say that again?
This looks to me like where they're putting a fence up.
Yeah, I mean, it can go up to the they're putting it up on the property line,
Right,
so that
but
shows the
that leads me
property
to
line.
believe, because this jogs in, that it's going closer, but this doesn't indicate that.
Yeah.
So, just asking for clarification on where the fence is actually gonna go.
And if you can't tell on the back side, there's heavy timber on the back, so there is residential further back, but we have a huge division of timber between us, so there's nothing aesthetic, you know, in terms of, you know, the community or anything else. We have salvage yards to our west that have boundaries all the way to the southern end, so we're just trying to match their boundaries as well.
You got something? No. So, you want this so that you can store more vehicles?
Yes, sir.
So how much of your yard is used currently? Because from some of the pictures, doesn't look like it's much.
Those are older, yes, correct. We bought this property a little over 2 years ago. It used to be the Wolf Auto Auction. We bought it, and since then, we have been growing, and we have more growth in the works, and we need to be able to utilize that existing property that we have that we just don't have enclosed. As you saw from the pictures they took, we've already laid concrete barriers around it. So barriers are in place, so people cannot drive through the fence, but obviously we need the fence there, or not drive out of the property, I'm sorry, but we do need the fence in place, so obviously as well.
And then what's that grassy area gonna be?
Nothing, it's just, so we could have fenced in on the asphalt, but when we looked at the cost, it made no sense to just cut off part of our property, because either way, if we were just enclosing just the asphalt only, then we still have to go east to west either way. Whether we go back to the tree line or we stop at the asphalt, we still have to pay to go east to west on that fence. So if we're gonna do the job, we might as well go the additional extra 100 feet and just go ahead and just encompass our property line.
Okay. Guys got any questions?
No.
All right, thanks, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll open this up to the public. Is there anybody that would like to speak in favor of this petition? Please step forward. Seeing none. Any on Zoom? Seeing none. Is there anybody that would like to speak against this petition? Please step forward. Seeing none. Any on Zoom? Seeing none. Public portion is now closed. You guys got any further comment, or I'll take a motion?
Dr. Lau, go ahead. Dr. Luck, I make a motion to approve the variance as presented by staff.
Joe Velman, I second.
We have a first and a second. Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Roush?
Yes.
Mr. Ritzma?
Yes.
Mr. Byers?
Yes.
Mr. Velman?
Yes.
Dr. Lauk?
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier?
Yes, based on the testimony presented here today, after careful consideration, the Area Board of Zoning Appeals grants you variance and will issue written findings of the facts. Thank you.
Petition number 5, location 200 Pierce Street and unaddressed parcel abutting 200 Pierce to the north. Owner Joseph W. Niels, Requested action, variance number 1, from section 5.01, sub D1, to allow 2,663 square feet of an accessory buildings where a maximum of 1,200 square feet is permitted. Variance number 2 from section 4.01 sub K to allow a height of 23.5 feet where a maximum of 19 feet is permitted for a proposed 2,560 square foot accessory structure. Zoning R1, single family district, Osceola.
This is Sean Klein, Area Plan Commission staff. So as Shelley mentioned, this petition is within the town of Osceola. Unlike St. Joseph County, the town of Osceola zoning ordinance, it caps across the board accessory square footage at 1,200 square feet. It is not dictated by the size of the lot. And the same with the height, which in most cases is appropriate, as most of the residentially zoned parcels within the town are smaller town parcels, and these accessory structures might be only set back 5 feet from the side property lines, which is the minimum. However, in this case, it's a fairly sizable lot. It's 1.75 acres, so we don't believe that restricting them to the 1,200 square feet or the 19 feet of height is appropriate in this context. And we don't feel that, given the substantial setbacks that are being proposed, that it would have any adverse impact on neighboring properties or the public. As you can see, it's set off from most other properties from Bago Creek. Really, the only close residential use is to the west there. And that's the drive leading up to the property. And then that's the east side and the creek. And then this is the property to the west. So you can see even in the winter, there is decent screening by the row of trees there, and as well as the solid fence. And then this is the site plan showing where the structure will be built. It is being proposed set back over 200 feet from the front property line, and then 25 feet from that west property line. Turning to the state law criteria, we don't believe that granting the variances would be injurious to public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. As I stated, it is going to be set back over 200 feet from the public right-of-way, so it's really not going to have any sort of impact on the general public. The use and value of the area adjacent, we don't believe will be affected in an adverse manner. The only property that could potentially be affected, given the location of the creek, we feel, is the property to the west, and they are proposing that 25-foot setback, so we don't feel that it'll have any substantial impact on the use and value there. Turning to the third criteria, we do feel that applying the standard of only allowing an accessory structure with a height of 19 feet and an area of 1,200 square feet would result in practical difficulties when applied to a property of this size, where more substantial setbacks can be provided, and in this case, we don't feel that it really serves any public interest in restricting them to that size. Beyond that, we do recommend approval of the variances, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Any questions? Nope. Terry?
Terry Lang from the Whiteman office. Our address is 1402 Mishawaka Avenue here in South Bend. Represent the petitioner here. As Sean had indicated, it's the very last piece of property tucked along Bago Creek all the way along the easterly side, access out to the St. Joseph River right there. A lot of the homes along that stretch of Pier Street right there have additional buildings that are used for additional vehicles, boat storage, camper storage, things like that. As you saw in the pictures, looking down the driveway, it does kind of head way back in there. Obviously, the screening that you see right there blocks the view from that. The other photo showed the fence along that westerly property line right there, plus the pine trees along that edge right there as you go down that side. So the intent was to set that back so that it's not obtrusive to the neighborhood, keep it far enough away from the westerly property line. With the fence being there, it's screened real well along that side right there, and the petitioner will be able to store his vehicles inside out of the weather right there. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Is there any questions?
Nope.
Joe?
Terry, can you go back to the overhead
Yeah.
view, the site view? Can you indicate on that picture where in relation to the other house that the pole barn is going to roughly sit?
Be right in right there.
So
You can
basically-
see the vehicle right there,
Right, so
right in that
directly across
general
from the other
location,
house.
yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then there's an extra building right there that's, the neighbor has. So it'll kind of be behind that also.
And I would wholeheartedly agree with you, there are other accessory structures in this neighborhood without any issue, but none to my knowledge, at least with my visual acuity on how large they are. Would you have any guesstimation on any other buildings of the size that are close to this size in there?
Down about 8 lots down further, you'll see, you'd have to go just a little bit further down too. There's a couple of them. In this area here, and then there's another one over here that's got a much larger building than what we are proposing even. But in each of those cases, they have boats and RVs and things as access to the river comes all the way back into there.
Right. Thanks.
From the aerial, it looks like there's possibly 2 sheds. One might be a tent kind of material, and the other one looks like it's a regular shed.
The one looks like a carport maybe type of,
Yeah, something.
with some sides
But
to it.
It looks like it's enclosed, yeah.
Yeah.
Is he taking that down?
Probably, yes. Because right now, there, it's
So
just,
he will take it down?
yes, we can commit to that, yes.
Okay.
Right now, it's the temporaries for parking the vehicles in that we're looking to get the variance for.
I can't tell what this other one is. Is there 2 out there?
It appears there's a shed
Yeah, there's
further-
there's a normal shed as well, but we accounted for that in the square
Oh,
footage.
you did?
Yeah.
But not the carport
No,
thing?
no.
Okay, so the carport thing will come down.
I believe it is coming down as soon as he pulls the permit for the new one.
Okay. Anybody got any questions? All right, thanks, Terry.
Uh-huh.
All right, we'll open this up to the public. Is there anybody who'd like to speak in favor of this petition? Please step forward. Seeing none. Any on Zoom? Seeing none. Is there anybody who would like to speak against this petition? Please step forward. Seeing none. Any on Zoom? Seeing none, public portion is now closed. You guys got anything else, or I'll take a motion?
This is Joe Velman. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the variances as requested, and here's why. To the staff's comment says this is an unusually large residential lot inside basically the town of Osceola. I understand the usual requirements of the 1,200 square foot maximum would make sense in a more standard lot, but this being such an oversized lot with the screenings around all that kind of stuff, I think it makes sense and is appropriate for this particular site. So motion to approve.
Dr. Locke, second?
We have a first and a second. Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Roush?
Yes.
Mr. Byers?
Yes.
Dr. Lauk?
Yes.
Mr. Ritzma?
Yes.
Mr. Velman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier?
Yes, based on the testimony presented here today, after careful consideration, the Area Board of Zoning Appeals grants your variance and will issue written findings of the facts. Thank you.
Petition number 6, location, unaddressed parcel abutting 70178 State Road 104 Highway to the east, Lot 8 of Elizina Place Estates. Owner, Justine E. and Leah M. Richards. Requested action, variance from section 154.092, sub D, to allow an 8-foot side east yard setback where 30 feet is required for a proposed accessory structure. zoning A agricultural district, county.
This is Sean Klein, Area Plan Commission staff. So this is for the subject property highlighted there. It's just outside the town of Walkerton. They're requesting a side setback variance for the east side from 30 feet down to 8 for a proposed accessory structure, which is going to be used for a combination of agricultural use and just residential accessory storage, not residential use, but storage. So staff is recommending approval of the variance. For one thing, it's a fairly narrow lot for the agricultural district, so it is kind of difficult to impose that 30-foot setback. Additionally, the property immediately to the east, which is also a narrow strip, that's actually zoned or owned by the industrial property within the town of Walkerton that you see there on the screen. At the moment, they're really just maintaining that kind of as a buffer to the residential properties. So it's not expected that there'd be any sort of development on that site which would be adversely affected by the structure being set back 8 feet versus the 30 feet that's required. Additionally, although there are other areas where it could potentially be constructed or it could be oriented differently, given the angle of the street and other trees and structures on the property, as well as the location of the existing cattle area, this is really the only sensible place for the structure on the property. There we go. As the property is viewed from the street, that fenced-in area there, that's where the cattle are, and this is going to be up at the north, which you'll see in a moment. Surrounding area that's looking towards where the industrial area is in the town of Walkerton. And then you can see per the site plan, it is angled along to follow the angle where the existing cattle area is fenced off, and then allowing it to be at that angle, which is why it's not meeting the setback, allows the entrance to be perpendicular with the street to make for easier access there from the road as well. Then these are some exhibits provided by the petitioner. I'll let him speak to those. Turning to the state law criteria, we don't believe that a side setback variance is impactful enough to the general community to really have any impact on public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. We feel that allowing this setback reduction, given that the neighboring property is owned by an industrial user, it will not have any adverse impact on the continuing use and value of that property. And finally, turning to the third criteria, strict application of the terms of this chapter would require the petitioner to orient the structure differently and perhaps move it further back onto the site, which would impede into the existing cattle area and require the removal of structures or trees. And in this case, we don't really feel that there's any public benefit in imposing that difficulty on the petitioner. So we do recommend approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
You guys got any questions? Extra photos. Is the petitioner present? Yes? All right, name and address, and you got 10 minutes.
Hi, my name is Justin Richards. I live at 70178 State Road 104, Walkerton, Indiana. I'm here today in request for a variance for the 8-foot setback due to the property layout and orientation for me to be able to get around to the rear hayfield. With the property being so narrow and yet long, I do own the other piece of property. It would be to the west of that. I have permission to use part of the property that this building would bump up to for the cattle. Just haven't been able to do that yet. I would like to have the 8-foot setback so I don't have to remove some of the pine trees along the driveway for windscreen and privacy reasons. That's really all I have.
So you said you do own the property next to it?
Yeah, so where the house is, so I own where the opposed building is, and then the one, it would be to the top left-hand corner there. And then I do have a letter from the neighbor across the street, supporting, being able to push it back to 8 foot, if that's helpful. This one? Yep, thank you.
You guys have any questions?
So thank you for these pictures, because it helps. So basically, it's the back corner of the proposed structure is gonna be within 8 foot of the property line, is
Yes,
what it
sir.
boils down to.
Yep.
Okay, understood. And then, so you're utilizing this blue portion for cattle is where that's at? Is that what?
Yes,
what I'm
that's where the
understanding?
cows are currently, and then part of the building will be used for the cows as well. And in that picture, you can't really quite see, but it would be like 20 foot to the back corner of where that 8 foot easement is gonna be. There's already 2 gates set there for that other piece of property that I have permission to use. So,
Understood. So by the time, this is a 44 wide structure, did I see that?
40 by 144.
40? So the one edge will be within 8 foot, but as that 40 foot goes across, that other edge will be obviously 48 feet away from probably
Yes, sir.
the property line?
Yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Is there not any reason that you could push it further up here and
So-
get another 15 or 20 feet out of that?
in doing that, I'll end up having to get rid of the pine trees in front to be able to pull through with all my hay equipment and everything. I got a 40-foot gooseneck for hauling the hay, and then my tractor and rake and everything, they're wide, so.
So the use of this building is only gonna be for the cattle, won't be for storage of anything else on the property?
It'll be storage for like my camper and everything, just miscellaneous residential storage.
Good?
Sure.
Sure. All right, thanks, sir. We'll open this up to the public. Is there anybody who would like to speak in favor of this petition? Please step forward. Seeing none. Any on Zoom? Seeing none. Is there anybody who would like to speak against this petition? Please step forward. Seeing none. Any on Zoom? Seeing none, public portion is now closed. You guys got anything else, or I'll take a motion?
Dr. Lauk, I make a motion to approve the variance as presented by staff.
Tom Byers, second.
We have a first and a second. Mr. Ritzma?
Yes.
Mr. Roush?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Velman?
Yes.
Mr. Byers?
Yes.
Dr. Lauk?
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier?
Yes, based on the testimony presented here today, after careful consideration, the Area Board of Zoning Appeals grants your variance and will issue written findings of the facts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have all that stuff?
This, oh, from earlier, yeah. Yes.
All right, we got minutes from July 10th. Donnie, did you see anything?
Did not.
Bye-bye.
I think we might have skipped findings of fact.
Oh. Oh, sorry. I thought I did it, all right, we got findings of facts from January 8th, 2025.
It was all at the end of my packet, just if you didn't see it immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it online.
Oh,
I
okay.
pulled it off. I just don't see it in this pack, which is fine, but I read it
Well, it's
previously.
in this packet, for me, it was all the way at the end.
Yeah.
Yep. This one as well, too.
Got a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the finding of facts from January 8th, 2025.
Dr. Lauk, second.
Lance is gone, so motion to approve January 8th, 2025, findings of facts. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
For the July minutes, there is a typo on the second page where it says DJ needs to recuse himself, should be recuse.
Well, yep.
Maybe he did say that. You don't
Maybe.
know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you don't know.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to approve the minutes from the Wednesday, July 10th, 2024 meeting
With that correction?
With the
with the
correction.
correction as noted by staff.
Dr. Lauk, second.
All right. Motion to approve July 10th, 2024 with the correction noted by staff. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Donnie, you missed it.
I am human.
Very rare.
He thought that's what you said.
He's just trying to keep us on our toes, right?
Minutes from August 14th.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to approve the minutes from the Wednesday, August 14th, 2024 meeting.
Dr. Lauk, second.
It's like the Joe and Julie show.
I know,
today.
right?
All right, motion to approve the August 14th, 2024 minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Abby?
All right. Just an update on minutes. Man, Shelley has really been cranking through them, huh? She has November, December, and January ready to be proofread, so expect a lot of minutes on your agenda for March. And then maybe even this meeting, depending on how it goes.
Yes.
Are you using
All
AI
right.
yet to create the minutes?
Pardon?
Are you using AI yet to create the minutes?
So we have played around with Zoom transcription, but it still requires a lot of human involvement. All right, and then a little bit of an announcement for you all. I'm sure some of you have heard, some of you haven't. I have resigned from the county. My last day will be Friday, February 21st. So I've enjoyed working with all of you, each and every one of you, truly. But I'm looking forward to my next role, which will be with the city of South Bend.
Thank you for everything that you've done.
Thanks, Dr. Lauk, excuse me.
Julie's fine.
So Sean will be serving as interim, well, provided that the area plan passes the resolution next week, Sean will serve as interim while the search committee does the search for my replacement. The search committee will make a recommendation to the area plan that will then vote on the resolution hiring the new director. So I anticipate it'll take a little while, but Sean will serve as interim during that process. And then Dr. Lauk and DJ will have a vote in my replacement. All
The
right.
joke was that Sean finally pushed Abby out.
Yeah, I feel threatened.
Took 6.5 years.
All right, sorry, we don't have to belabor it any longer, but just wanted to let everyone know.
Oh,
Thanks.
congratulations.
Thank you.
They're lucky to get you.
Thanks.
Motion to adjourn, unless anybody else has got anything they want to say to Abby. She already knows how I feel, so.
Mr. Chairman, Joe Bellman, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Dr. Lauk, second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.